Do you want to get fit and healthy and have the body of your dreams in 15 minutes or less? Well, so do I. And unfortunately, I haven't figured out how to do that. So if you do, let me know. But while I can't tell you how to have everything you need in 15 minutes or less in the gym, I can teach you the biggest lessons I've learned over my 15-year career as a health and fitness professional in less than 15 minutes. Welcome to Change Made Easy. Changing your habits, behaviors, and routines is hard. We make it easy. I'm Paul Levitin, a certified personal trainer for more than 12 years who has been helping people just like you create lasting change in their health, wealth, and relationships. The Greek philosopher Socrates said, "No man has a right to be an amateur in the matter of physical training." And since Socrates was speaking like 2,000 plus years ago when things were a little less PC, I'm going to go ahead and extend that to all men, women, they, thems, and in-betweens. And I agree with Socrates. I believe that your body is the vessel that takes you through this life. It is the only one you will ever have. So it makes sense to take care of it and to understand how to use it properly. Being quote-unquote fit is about so much more than looks. It's about quality of life, feeling good, being able to experience more things in life. It's about aging gracefully and so much more. And you owe your body and yourself that much. So today, I'm going to condense nearly a decade and a half of real-world fitness advice into simple-to-follow action steps. And I'll tell you exactly what not to do that might be holding you back and where to focus your limited time and attention so that you can get the best results in the least time. Fitness doesn't have to be complicated, so let's make it easy. When it comes to getting fit, one thing that I've found in nearly 13 years of working in gyms, online coaching, working as a nutritionist, is that people really overcomplicate things. And this being change made easy, that's the last thing I would ever want to do. Because complicated is the opposite of easy. We want things to be simple, because simple is smooth, and smooth is sustainable. And that's what this is really all about, building your fitness in a way that's sustainable for the long term. So I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty of exercise mechanics or workout selection or programming and whatever else. Because for one, that stuff is already out there. You can find tons of good resources on that to guide you. And if you need that, you can DM me and I'll send you some. But more importantly, I really don't think that that's what most people need. I think that people think they need a better workout routine or a more intricate plan. But what I found in my career is that 99 out of 100 times, that's not really the case. It's really similar to people who think they need to be picking individual stocks to have success investing in the stock market, but literally all the research has shown that simply investing in a broad market index fund will beat individual stock pickers 999 times out of 1,000. And I don't know about you, but I'm going to bet with the 999 and not try to be the 1 out of 1,000. So rather than going into these intricate, upper-level, high, advanced workout routines that really don't matter for the vast majority of people, today, I'm going to give you the real, simple stuff that most people need to focus on to be successful in their health and their fitness journeys. So this is for you if you struggle to stick to any fitness routine, even though you understand intellectually that fitness and exercise are important for you. And if you just want to be healthy and get better as you age, but you have no interest living in the gym or dieting until the day you die, then keep listening. These are my top 3 pieces of fitness advice that I've learned over my career. A career that spanned over a decade, working in multiple gyms, training well over 1,000 clients in person and hundreds and thousands more online, working with people in nearly every state in America and over 20 different countries around the world. These are pieces of advice that will make changing your habits around fitness easier. So number 1 is, do not try to force feed yourself a form of fitness you do not enjoy. This is probably the thing I've changed my tune on the most over the last decade. Because if you would have asked me when I was 25 to give you fitness advice, I would have definitely said, well, if you want to be fit, you have to be lifting in the gym 2, 3, ideally 4 times a week. Maybe do some cardio, but that's not really important. Lifting is the way to go. And especially right now, if you're on social media, everyone is talking about lifting, squatting, hip thrusting. Or maybe your social media feed is all about run clubs and cold plunges. Whatever it is, there are influences and thought leaders who are there telling you what the quote-unquote best thing is. And honestly, I'm not here to say they're wrong, because the reality is they're right. Strength training, lifting weights, getting stronger is ideal for most humans. Your body will benefit if you lift weights for a long time. It will benefit if you run or do some type of cardio. But the thing is that most people take that to mean, oh, I have to lift weights or I have to run if I want to be fit. And that is not true. Because the reality is most people just need to move more and exercise a bit. And if you hate doing something, say you really don't like lifting weights or you really don't like running, and you're trying to force feed yourself that thing so much so that you actually never want to do it, then you're forcing yourself into an uphill battle that eventually you're probably going to give up on. And what we know about fitness more than anything is that if you don't use it, you lose it. So in the end, it's really consistency that matters. And that's why instead of trying to get yourself to do what's quote unquote best or most optimal, it makes more sense to find fitness that you enjoy and that can make you smile. So maybe that's dancing or kayaking or doing yoga, or it is lifting with your friends twice a week and doing Zumba on the weekends. While it might not be the quote unquote most perfectly optimal thing based on science, what you lose in optimality, you more than make up for in consistency and enjoyment, and that's what truly matters. Because again, if you are trying to do something because it's the perfect workout, say it's lifting, but you don't like going to the gym, you don't like lifting weights, you don't like the environment of the gym, and every time you have to make yourself go, you're relying on willpower and motivation to force yourself to get there, that can only last for so long. Yes, theoretically, if you showed up consistently and did that for days, weeks, months, years, you would get a good result from it. But the point is, why are you trying to force yourself to do something you don't want to do? Would you get the same result if you were just dancing every day? Probably not. But would you be healthier? Yes. And if you enjoy dancing and you do it 3, 4, 5 times a week, you dance in the kitchen, you dance with your partner, you go to dance classes, and you dance so much that you get the movement your body needs, that would make you much healthier over time. The reality is, fitness needs to be for life. You don't get to stop being fit when you're 60, 70, 80 or beyond. Like I said in the beginning, this is about quality of life. So if you want that higher quality of life, you need to find something that you're going to want to do for a long time. So if it's for life, you might as well make it fun. Trying to white knuckle your way to success in a lifelong pursuit is a surefire way to burnout and giving up eventually. So the second piece of advice is to not focus on immediate results. And this might be a cliche at this point, but it's a cliche for good reason. As they say, it's a lifestyle. It's a journey. And you might, again, logically or intellectually understand that, but the chances are when you are first setting off on a quote-unquote fitness journey, you're doing it with some immediate result in mind. I am so pumped to tell you about my partnership with My Body Tutor. My Body Tutor is the world's leading nutrition coaching platform that helps people find their healthy weight and keep it forever through sustainable habit change. If you listen to this show, you know that we do not suffer from a lack of information. Most people know what they need to change. The problem is actually sticking to it long enough to see results. When it comes to diet, exercise, and getting in shape, My Body Tutor solves this problem by giving you customized plans, one-on-one coaching, and daily accountability. As a bonus for you, they are offering $50 off your first month. What makes My Body Tutor so unique is they offer daily accountability with a real human coach. That's someone to check in with you, talk to, plan with, someone who can help you when things are going hard. It's not ChatGPT, it's not some algorithm. This is a real human. I know because I'm one of them. I have been working with My Body Tutor as one of their tutors since 2020. With so much nonsense and misinformation and just bad actors out in the health and wellness space, My Body Tutor is helping people the real way. They are changing lives. I've seen it firsthand, and I'm honored to be a part of it. Check out mybodytutor.com, where you can see hundreds of testimonials and reviews. And remember, listeners of this show get $50 off their first month. Just click the link in the show notes or go to mybodytutor.com and tell them Paul from Change Made Easy sent you in your intake questionnaire, and you'll automatically get a huge discount. On top of that, they offer a money-back, risk-free guarantee. So this is really a no-brainer. And like I said, I really do work for them. So if you've ever wanted to work with me personally, you can even request to have me as your body tutor. How cool would that be? Once again, just say Paul sent you and get $50 off your first month, start with no risk, and see how the power of a coach with daily accountability can literally change your life. You have a picture of your future self that you are aspiring to become. There's nothing wrong with that. That's what gets you in the door. Whatever gets you going is always good. But the issue comes when focusing on that immediate reward, that transformation that you're looking for, actually becomes demotivating. And that's because that real change, a true transformation, takes time. And especially when we're talking about transforming and changing the physical shape of your body. I mean, fat can take weeks or months or more to burn off. Muscle takes months or even years to put on. It is a slow, gradual process. And that's why while you're doing it, it can feel tedious and literally painstaking at times. And that's why, going back to point one, it's so important to do something that you enjoy. Because if you're going through this long, tedious process and you hate doing it, it's going to be very hard to keep up with it. So instead of getting stuck on immediate changes that aren't happening, you need to shift your focus. Because even though outward physical change, like seeing visible muscle growth or going down a pant size, that can take a decent amount of time. But that doesn't mean that change isn't happening sooner. So a key is learning to see the progress and see the change in other areas in that time. So maybe you're being more consistent with your exercise routine than you have in the past. That's a win. Maybe you're eating better because you're feeling more motivated by how you're working out, so you're making healthier eating decisions. That's a win. Maybe you're sleeping better, or you have more energy, or less pain, or you feel proud of committing to something and following through, or your kids are starting to ask about the exercise you're doing or going on a run with you. These are wins. Win, 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 win. So focusing on the small, often invisible wins is so important because that's what keeps you going through those long, dry spells where you're not actually seeing the outward physical change that you're after. But the reality is change is happening. You just have to learn to see it. And the third piece of advice, this one might ruffle some feathers, but I promise you it's the truth. You need to stop focusing on continuous improvement. And I know that can sound crazy because isn't the whole point of working out to get better? It certainly is, but that can be exactly what's tripping you up. See, getting fit can and should make you better in many regards over time. But the issue is you might be equating fitness with constantly getting better all the time. And that might make you conclude that you constantly need to be going heavier weights, doing harder workouts, longer runs, getting faster, which partially, theoretically, is true. But the problem is that you might be advancing a lot sooner and faster than you really need to be, or that you can even handle. So you might think that simply because you were able to do something, let's say you lift the weight, you get it up, you're doing a bicep curl, or you do the run and you finish, or you get into that yoga pose, that automatically means you graduate to the next level. I lifted 25 pounds, so next time I lift 30. But the reality is there's a gap between doing the thing and doing the thing well or correctly. So going up to a higher weight just because you lifted the lighter weight can be like passing with a grade of 65 out of 100 and then celebrating like you aced the test. Like, yeah, you technically passed, you lifted the weight or you finished the race, but clearly you're not an expert. And that's not to say you need to get 100% pass rate either, but there's a big gap between just barely passing and knowing all there is to know about a subject. So instead of jumping into harder and harder weights or harder workouts or runs or poses or whatever it is you're doing, think about this. Instead of just asking, can I do this? Can I lift the weight? Can I finish the run? Ask yourself, can I do it well? Can you do it with control? Can you do it and make it look good? Can you do it with good form? Can you actually feel the muscles that you're supposed to be feeling and not feel a bunch of other muscles that you're not supposed to be working with in that particular motion? So for lifting, that often means slowing down the movements and controlling the weight more. In the example I just gave before, if you are lifting 20 pounds or 25 pounds instead of jumping up 5 pounds, can you slow down the lift? Can you control it more the next time? That's also progress. I personally do a lot of indoor rock climbing. So in climbing, it would be instead of moving to a harder route, doing the same route and climbing it with more control, being able to move more gracefully and less jerky and spastic. In yoga, it's being able to hold the same positions but breathe more calmly. In running, it might be being able to run the same distance but with a lower heart rate, with better breathing, with less overall fatigue. It's not always about run more, do more, lift more. You have to understand, more is not better. Better is better. And I know I said that I was going to stop at 3, but as a special bonus 4th tip, the easiest fitness tip of all is just to walk more. And I know that this sounds so simple and people overhype walking at this point, but it really can't be overhyped. It is the simplest thing you can do and the most impactful. In my, again, nearly 15 years as a coach, the biggest transformations, the biggest changes, the biggest shifts I've seen in people have been from people who have adopted a lifestyle where they walk a ton more. They walk to work, they walk to the store, they go on walks with their family. They just add walking every day. And this is another one of those things where 10 years ago, I would have been like, well, it's just walking. It can't do much. But walking is everything, and it will change your life if you walk more. And if that seems almost too easy, I guarantee you that's the whole point. Fitness is already hard enough because your human body is meant to move, and you live a life where you don't have to move a lot if you don't want to. And the human body that you have was meant to eat nutritious foods, and you live in a world where unhealthy, unnutritious foods are readily available to you at any moment. So you're already fighting an uphill battle, which is why it's normal to struggle with this stuff. But I promise you, even though it is challenging, it doesn't have to be torture. It doesn't have to be so hard that you give up. And that's the main takeaway here. All you have to do is find something enjoyable where you're moving your body. If you're sitting here saying, I don't like to work out, I would challenge you to think about fitness more broadly. Again, dancing, kayaking, biking, running, hiking. There's so many other types of fitness. And then focus on the short term, not just the appearance-based wins, but focus on the small wins, the progress that is happening day in and day out. Remember to progress slowly, focusing on control and technique and getting better, not just doing more, and maybe get some more steps. That is change made easy. If you're working on changing your diet, exercise, or other habits around food and fitness, you have to check out My Body Tutor. My Body Tutor is the world's leading nutrition coaching platform that helps people find their healthy weight and keep it forever through sustainable habit change. And you know, as a listener of this show, that when it comes to creating change, it's all about sustainability and consistency. And when it comes to diet, exercise, and getting in shape, My Body Tutor solves the problem of consistency through one-on-one coaching, customized plans, and daily accountability. And as a bonus for you, they're offering $50 off your first month. But what really makes My Body Tutor so unique is they offer daily accountability with a real human coach. And I know because I'm one of them. I have been working with My Body Tutor since 2020. There's so much misinformation, so much nonsense out there in the health and wellness space, but not with My Body Tutor. My Body Tutor is the real deal. They are changing lives. I've seen it, I've been a part of it, and I'm honored to continue to grow with them. And you don't have to take my word for it. Check out mybodytutor.com, where you will see hundreds of testimonials and reviews. And as a special bonus for listeners of this show, you will get $50 off your first month. Just click the link in the show notes or go to mybodytutor.com and tell them Paul from Change Made Easy sent you in your intake questionnaire, and you'll automatically get a huge discount. And remember, they offer a money-back, risk-free guarantee, so this is a no-brainer for you. And no joke, I really do work for them. So if you want to work with me personally, ask for Paul as your tutor. Once again, tell them Paul from Change Made Easy sent you for $50 off your first month. Start with no risk and see how the power of a coach with daily accountability can literally change your life.